Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you could see it and you could purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we're discussing a 2015 limited edition of 1,915 pieces. This is the Breitling Transocean Chronograph 1915, an incredibly rare combination for the Schneider family era of Breitling in that it is a manual wind display caseback in-house caliber limited edition mono pusher. The watch, 43mm in stainless steel, is designed to pay homage to the first independent push piece Breitling chronograph in 1915. So what that meant at the time was that the push piece for the chronograph was not simply a coaxial crown that you push to start. The watch, however, features some design elements that are more characteristic of 1940s and 50s Breitling chronographs, including the historic Breitling Premier family that's been lately reanimated. Well, Georges Kern, you didn't have the idea. Not first. The Schneider family beat you to it. It's a large watch, 43mm in diameter. The timepiece measures a substantial 54.8mm from lug to lug, though the Transocean lugs are nicely curved and they do sort of arc around the edge of my wrist. Nevertheless, I probably wouldn't recommend this watch for a wrist smaller than 15 to 16 centimeters circumference, and my wrist at 16 centimeters circumference gives you a good sense of scale. The spacing between the lugs is a beefy 22mm, and the watch is 15mm thick in spite of the manual wind architecture, so it's a hefty timepiece. Substantial, you feel like you're getting a lot of watch for your money, and you're getting a lot of bracelet. Now, another vintage-inspired element on this watch, and this really emblematic of 50s and 60s bracelet design, is the straight bar rather than the fit end piece. So you have the straight bar design attached to a period-inspired mesh bracelet. Breitling alternately calls this the Air Classic and the Ocean Classic, depending on whether the watch is an aviation-themed or nautically themed model. Well, here it's very narrowly the Air Classic. As you can see, the individual links are almost indistinguishable from each other, creating a silken, almost supple cotton or silk-like feel on the wrist. It doesn't feel like a band of metal, it feels like a soft textile. But you can see that it's thoughtfully designed and it's sized conventionally, as there are individual removable links. These individual removable links too on both sides, so you have quite a few of them, and as they are relatively small, you can really fine-tune the fit of this watch. There are also 4 divots drilled inside the clasp, so you have additional adjustability by virtue of a strap tool. You have a simple high-polished Breitling single fold deployant clasp, and then you have a clamshell system for locking the clasp shut. The case band is relatively simple. As you can see, the lugs are stepped out from the mid case to break up the sheer mass of steel. In profile, there's a little bit of a transitional bevel that flares at the edge of the lug, and the lugs do have a nice graceful arc to them that's distinct from some of the more brutally profiled Breitling models. The bezel is very narrowly conical, and there's a nice cambered sapphire that recreates some of the off-axis distortion and bubble-like look of a 1940s or 50s Breitling plexiglass. And again, though this watch is named the 1915, the look of the watch is more that of the 1940s and early 50s. You can see that the dial features an erect set of simulated patina Arabic numerals, and if you look, they have a very thoughtful and functional black border, each one to enhance the contrast on what can be described as a somewhat ecru silver yellow base. There is a little bit of a simulated patina to the dial itself. The center of the dial is distinct in a more straight silver compared to the sort of shallow metallic ecru of the hour track, and then the hands at center also feature a simulated patina. There's a lovely vintage Breitling logo up at 12 o'clock, and then in the fashion of the 40s and 50s, you see the number of jewels in the movement written on the base of the dial. The watch does feature modern functionality, including stop seconds and a quick set date that allows you to rapidly cycle the date should the watch run down or encounter an irregular length month. Now, the mono pusher is fun because this is unusual on a Breitling timepiece. I can't think of many other mono pusher Breitling watches of the modern era. You can see that there are simulated long distance hashes on the dial, as during the mid-century period, transatlantic long distance calls, for example, would be charged in 3-minute increments, so 3, 6, 9, and you can see those on the minute register for the chronograph. You can see that the mono pusher is nicely integrated into the caseband of the watch, and we're going to pop open the bracelet right here because we have an uncommon display caseback on Schneider family era Breitling. Generally, this was the era of the solid caseback, but here you can see a rare manual wind application of the B01 in-house chronograph. Here it's known as the B14, 100 meters water resistant in this case. The watch features obvious signs of being a decapitated automatic, as there are some relics of the automatic mechanism visible on the bridges. Nevertheless, it's a good-looking movement with a combination of Côte de Genève satin and polish. 70-hour manual wind power reserve beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, 33 joules, stop seconds, quick set date. It is adjusted in 5 positions. It is both a column wheel and a vertical clutch, and the column wheel action is superb, and it is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. You can see it uses Edachron, so it can be adjusted with exceptional resolution and precision. The column wheel feel is sharp, and thanks to the vertical clutch, you can start the chronograph with no jump to the mechanism. And I can also mention that because of the vertical clutch, you can simply leave it running with no additional hazard, wear, and tear. See one of the most unique modern Breitling chronographs and own it on the watch box. The Breitling 1915 by Night.